Hey folks, Dylan here. So, today I am going to show you how to create a CSV file for CSVDE to use to generate, well, users. Um, Ultimately, what you're doing here can be used to generate other object types as well, but we're just going to focus on users right now. So CSVDE accepts a CSV file. So a CSV is a comma separated value file. Uh, Normally you can do that in just raw text, but depending on how complicated the data you're putting into it, sometimes you'll want to use a different tool. My personal favorite is Excel. So, as you can see here, I have Excel, and the first thing you need to do is set the header values. So you need four specific headers in order to create users for CSVDE. SAM account name, user principal name, DN, which is also the distinguished name, and the object class. So for the SAM account name, we're going to do guest user 1. I should explain a little bit more first, though. Let's see here. So the assumption we're going to make here is we're creating a guest users OU, which will have 20 guest users inside of it. Each one will be numbered. Guest user 1, guest user 2, guest user 3, etc. Um, this is a little, like, there are times you would be using this in industry and such. Uh, I don't know them offhand, but honestly, you might end up having to generate a whole bunch of computer accounts as well, which this could be used to do that as well. So we have adminferry.tech, which is a domain, and we have the guest users OU. So the LDAP path to guest users is OU equals guest users, DC equals adminferry, and DC equals tech. So we'll minimize that. So the user principal name is in an email format essentially. So this would be guest user 1 at adminferry.tech. Oh, yeah, I'll get to it. Distinguished name is in the format of, well, like I just pointed out a moment ago, this information here. So we'll just copy that. Go away, chat people. So we'll paste that there. But this is just going to tell it where the object's going to be created. We still need to define the object's name, which would be under the common name is equal to guest user 1, comma. So CN equals guest user 1, OU equals guest users, DC equals blah, 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 blah. And of course, user for object class. So in a perfect world, we could just grab this and stretch it downward. But as you can see, that didn't quite work the way we wanted. Guest user 2 is fine, but Excel can't recognize this first part here. So it's doing guest user 1 at adminferry.tech for every single one of them. And the same is happening in the distinguished name. So instead, I'm going to control undo that. So let's do, so SAM account name, we're just going to move it down one line. So grab, stretch down, and it'll automatically increment the number there. So now to generate these other parts, we're going to have to use a function that Excel has. So equal sign, which means it's a calculated function, and concatenate. So we'll go to that one and hit tab to finish. So then, as you can see, the format is it'll A, comma, B, comma, C. And what that'll do is it just combines all those strings together. It's what the concatenate function. So what I'm going to do, so first of all, concatenate the value in the A3 for the very first column. And the second string is going to be at adminferry.tech. Boom. So now, if I grab those and autocomplete, it increments all of them. So we'll undo that. We're not done yet though. We still need to do the distinguished name. So this is complicated. Well, it's a little bit complicated. So you have to separate the string into various parts. So the very first string is going to be equals concatenate. So the first string value is going to be cn equals, comma, and now the second string will be the SAM account name again. So we'll do a reference to A3, comma. So that has gotten us to this part right before the comma here. So now we just need the rest of the string. So, comma, OU equals guest users, comma, DC equals admin ferry, comma, DC equals tech, comma, close bracket. So now, as you can see, it's pretty much identical to the line above, except that guest user 2 is guest user 2 instead of guest user 1. And finally, user. So, guest user 2, the concatenate function with the domain name, and the concatenate function combining the various components of the LDAP path, and of course user. So we're going to generate 20 guest users. So what we're going to do is stretch this down so that we have 20 guest users, each one with a fully done, like a fully created user principal name and a fully functional distinguished name. Okay, so the first thing you'll want to do, save as, and this PC, arg. We'll just save it here. So you want to save it as an Excel document to start with, so that it keeps all of the complex values and functions. So we're going to call this guest user CSV. And important, that is not .csv, it is just guest user CSV, so that I recognize it in the file system later. And we're going to save that. Desktop. Bada boom. Come on. It'll show up any second. Okay, as you can see, here's guest users csv.xslsx. Okay, so now we have the base file, but we still need a CSV that we'll be able to import. So file, export, change file type. In this case, we're going to go to CSV, delimited. And scroll down and save as. So we're going to save that in the same location, but as you can see, it's guest user CSV.csv. Save. And now, guest user CSV.csv. So we're done with Excel for now. And to verify that it is what we think it is, we're going to open it with a text editor. So let's do edit with Notepad++. So as you can see here, this is the format it is. The very first line is the headers, and then each line after that is the values for those headers. For instance, the SAM account name, guest user 1, guest user 2, etc. The user principal name, guest user 1 at adminferry.tech. The distinguished name, this gobbledygook here, and the object class, user. So now you should be able to, in your server, go away Notepad, on your server, you should be able to import guest user CSV.csv using the CSVDE tool. We'll cover that in another video.